I had just announced my possible run for governor of Mississippi and was in the process of reporting a federal crime. There being a video on the site that explains goes into detail concerning the federal and state whistleblower laws, trying to get those who work in the federal system who are honest to blow the whistle to report crimes committed by the staff. They are constantly obstructing justice. In my particular case, the arresting officer wrote up a fictional character to send through the court system because the email itself did not fit the law. A figure of speech that took an imaginative person, an imaginative character, to shoehorn it into a case. It was actually, the email was sent in July and wasn't investigated. I wasn't arrested till October. The fact being, I was also working on law reform that is not only subject to this state, but other states, all the states actually. Prosecutors make a habit of what I call tossing the jury. They throw in a bunch of garbage during the course of a trial. They will extend the trial for days, throwing garbage in, so that when everything is said and done, the jury, in their memory, remembers that the prosecutor had proven something. When they throw in things that have no substance related to the case, this is called obstruction of justice. It is against the law. Therefore, will be many mistrials called. It will probably take the colleges in the United States probably years to go over all of the nonsense cases within the federal system to sort out what was legitimate and what was federal. What I'm doing will affect a lot of people. There may be guilty people set free. The fact being, if that is the case, the likelihood is that they had served their time and would be set free eventually anyway, and will be in a lot better shape without their mind being conditioned in federal prison those extra years. The fact being, we do not want a normal person, cannot bear the idea of an innocent person being in prison. In fact, human beings make mistakes. Somebody makes a paperwork mistake and they throw them in federal prison. The female facilities in the federal prison, some of them don't even have air conditioners. I spoke to one individual who was in the Florida facility, and she said that the hot water would only run for a matter of minutes in the morning before everyone else, only the first few, got to take a warm shower. Some of the female prisons don't have air conditioners at all. The male facility in North Carolina is freezing cold. There's actually elderly people sleeping under the beds while I was in there, hiding from the cold air vents. This is a serious deal. Public safety is the concern. When I was in North Carolina, I was sent all around the country, that being insignificant. But when I was in North Carolina, they had what appeared to be a 15 or 14-year-old kid, 14 or 15, juvenile, immature at that time, in prison awaiting a 17-year plea bargain for digital photographs he had saved off his computer which could happen to any child in this country. This one happened to be from North Alabama. They get anything they can get, including children. There is no way that there isn't state laws that would not allow them to put a child in prison for such an insignificant thing. That could be enforced, and this child, along with many, could be set free, taken into state custody. We need a federal system. There are positive sides to the federal system, but there is so much corruption that, as I said, it will take American colleges years going over these cases to sort out the legitimate cases from the, quote, federal cases. They have no deterrent. If you come back and sue them, they will play little pranks. It would take years to get your money if you sued them and won. About the only thing we can do is invoke state and local charges when it comes to mischief in law enforcement. There are state laws that do not allow false arrests. There are state laws against perjury. Perjury is the way they do things in the federal court system. If they don't have a case, they'll fabricate one against anyone they get. They're scavengers, possums. They're like possums stealing eggs from society. They're stealing sacrifices. For who or what, I do not know. The federal judge down here in Oxford has a bad habit of, he's got a little plier prank he pulls, where he will tell a victim they have much more time than they actually do, trying to invoke an emotional response for his penal pleasure. At the time I started reporting this and working on the details of reporting the case and also running for governor, I don't really want to, but I might have to. Whoever's in office now and then is welcome to my ideas either way. My internet connection was hacked and attacked and shut off. I have a cell phone now that has been attacked repeatedly. I can't go online without my internet connection being attacked. The only option we have is state laws and the National Guard intervening. Every case will have to be gone over. That will require too many people. That means we have to ask the colleges for assistance. Because they are so corrupt, the human nature side of things measures the possible deterrence. There being no deterrent because there is no honesty within at least the North Mississippi Federal Court as many. As I said, we need the positive side. I suppose there is a positive side to the federal court system. But the negative side are these hound dogs and these pranksters playing pranks and preying on the public. There is no telling how many victims they have taken from our society for absolutely nothing, including females who are sent to these prisons, some without air conditioners and running hot water. They have stupid little charges that would be easy to set someone up and easy to use for blackmail purposes. And they are unmonitored. This means the only option we have is to look into the situation, make the proper arrests, and the proper removal of victims that should not be there for common sense reasons. In the eyes of a normal person, you do not send a child to prison for 17 years for downloading a photograph off the internet. That is common sense. No one would do that to themselves. The Constitution is based on we the people in social interests. If they can railroad one person, they could railroad any person. Therefore, if it goes against the common interest, what one would do to themselves in terms of punishment, then it goes against social interests. Would you send your child to prison for 17 years for downloading a photograph off a computer? No. Nor would you your neighbor's child. There being enough state and local laws to release the children who are in prison at least, not to mention activists. And at least start the process of there being lawful order within the federal prison system, which will branch down in terms of social reform and law enforcement reform all throughout the whole system, down into the states and the counties, etc. Of course, the federal system being much worse than any state unless they're just completely corrupt, because they have no deterrence, they have no boundaries, they have unlimited resources and no deterrence, and are completely ridiculous because they have no reason not to be.